Getting back to chips that actually belong to a family, we come now to the rapid fire series of chips, the Arrow family. So the first in this family is Tri-Arrow. It does 40 damage but fires 3 shots. The thing, however, to be aware of is there is a bit of a pause between each shot, so be careful because it freezes you in place for a little bit. The next step up is Tri-Spear. This one does 50 damage per hit and is a little bit faster. The last in this family is Tri-Lance. This one does 60 damage per shot and is a lot faster. Next up is a group of fun little, somewhat guided bombs, the Raton family. The Raton chips can make one turn to go after enemies, if they've gone over at least one panel. They cannot turn immediately. This family consists of Raton 1, which does 80 damage, Raton 2, which does 100 damage, and finally Raton 3, which does 120 damage. This next series is actually fairly hard for the enemy to dodge. It's the Wave series. Surf's up, dudes. First is Wave. It does 80 aqua damage. Each portion of the wave gets stopped when it hits one single target, but it is a nice spread attack. Next is Red Wave, which does 100 damage and is actually a heat element. And lastly there's Big Wave, which goes back to being Aqua Element and does 160 damage. Rolling waves of water not your thing? How about hammer-based explosions? It's time for the Gaia series. The Gaia family of chips lets you strike the ground with a big hammer. No matter where you use it, it sends a rolling column of explosions down the field, damaging everything in its path. This family consists of Gaia 1, which does 100 damage per hit, Gaia 2, which does 130 damage per hit, and finally Gaia 3, which does 160 damage per hit. Next up we have your basic standard electric attack. It's time for the Thunder series. Upon use, Thunder Chips release a rolling ball of electricity that can move a certain number of squares forward before disappearing. Thunder 1 can move up to 3 squares before disappearing, and does 90 elect damage. Next up is Thunder 2, which can move up to 4 panels and does 120 elect damage. And finally there's Thunder 3, which can move up to 5 panels, the entirety of the row, and does 150 elect damage. The next set is a little weird to use sometimes, but at least they don't hurt you like they did their previous owners. It's the Ring Zap series. The Ring Zap family of chips makes a ball of lightning circle around you. It's close range, but effective. Ring Zap 1 does 100 elect damage and the ball of lightning circles you once. Next up is Ring Zap 2. It still only does 100 elect damage, however now the ball of lightning can circle you twice. But please be aware, no matter how many times the Ring Zap circles you, it's stopped immediately upon striking a target. And finally Ring Zap 3, which still just does 100 elect damage but can circle you up to 3 times. Next we have a group of chips that does a quick string of attacks to one panel. It's the Twister series. So this family of chips creates a twister 2 panels in front of you. They all do 30 base damage, it's just a question of how fast and for how many hits. The group consists of Typhoon, which does 30 damage up to 3 hits, Hurricane, which does 30 damage up to 5 hits, and finally there's Cyclone, which does 30 damage for up to 8 hits. This next group is rather unusual. The path it takes is completely random, so you can't always count on it. It's time for the snake egg family. The snake egg family of chips drops a small snake to slither around on the enemy side of the field. Its path is completely random, so it can take it a little while sometimes to find its target. But in the meantime, you can fight on your own. Snake Egg 1 does 130 wood damage. Snake Egg 2 does 140 elect damage. That is, as soon as the snake decides to strike. Finally, there's Snake Egg 3, which does 150 heat damage, but it has an added little bonus beyond that. When it first falls, the snake releases a ring of fire. This fire also does 150 heat damage, so if you're lucky you can get 2 hits with this one. Sometimes hurting the enemy just isn't enough. Sometimes you need to recover as well. With the Drain family of chips, you can do both at the same time. The Drain family of chips stops time and sends you rocketing down the row you're currently standing on, hitting any and all targets on that row. It also heals you for every target that you happen to strike. It is worth noting that it will heal you for the full amount of damage Drain can do, even if the target didn't have that much health to begin with. This family consists of Drain 1, which does 50 damage per hit and heals you by 50 for every target you strike. Drain 2, which does 70 damage per hit, plus heals you by 70 for every target you strike. And lastly, Drain 3, which does 90 damage and heals you by 90 for every target you strike. An interesting thing to note is it will still give you the healing benefits, even if the target you strike didn't take damage, such as that last bubble wrap virus. Next, we have another of those chips that doesn't really belong with any others. Sure, it may look like a dash chip, but Body Burn's effect is vastly different. So next up we have Body Burn. When used, this one surrounds you with a cross of flame that does 100 heat damage. It's close range, but rather nice for things that try to invade your personal space. Sometimes it can be a good thing to actually get rid of a few panels on the field. If that's the case, the X panel chip should suit your needs just fine. First up is X Panel 1. It destroys the panel directly in front of you, effectively blocking ground-based attacks like Shockwave. However, things like Cannon can still get through, so be cautious of that. Then there's X Panel 3. This one destroys the column in front of you, but basically what it really is it has the range of Wide Sword. That being said, if you use it at the top or bottom row, you're actually only going to get rid of 2 panels. So next is another of those chips that doesn't really belong with anything else. And also this one, when I was first demoing it, I was a little quick to judge it. So let's talk about Hammer. So next we have Hammer. It's a short-range attack that does 100 damage to the panel directly in front of you. Now, it does say in the chip description that it also breaks cubes, but, well, here's the secret to that. Cubes just happen to have 100 hit points, so really, anything that does at least 100 damage and can target stage objects will break cubes. Now, I may have been a little bit too hasty. These particular blocks that are only found in player versus player are a lot sturdier than 100 HP. But the hammer will still break them. There are times that you have to worry about more than just attacking the enemy. Sometimes you have to worry about defending yourself as well. For such times, they're the shield chips. So first up is Met Guard. This one's a fairly simple shield. You can hold the button down to make it last for up to 3 seconds, or you can drop it early if you're so inclined, and it blocks all attacks. But really, that's all there is to it. And then there's Iron Shield. This one's got a little more kick to it. 100 damage to be precise. When hit with an attack, it goes flying down the row, attacking the first thing it runs into. It lasts as long as you hold the button down, until something hits it. Just keep in mind piercing attacks like Shockwave that go down the row regardless of obstacles, they can still hit you behind the shield.